Hey everyone, and welcome to your second session of the Alumni Leadership Conference. Hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to talk to you about our chapter and network programs moving forward and kind of the standardization and updates that we're implementing into those programs. But before we get there, my name is Sarah Garrow, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Associate Director of Alumni Affairs. So directly, I oversee all of our chapter and network programs nationwide. I also dabble a little bit in young alumni engagement, and I also oversee our ambassador student organization. I'm a proud Wright College of Education alumna of 2016. I got my Master's of Arts in College Student Development. Absolutely love my time as a graduate student at Appalachian. I joined our team in March of 2019, and I'm an avid hiker and lover of Appalachian football. You'll see my quote unquote formal headshot on the left, but you all will most likely see me like I am on the right with my brother and husband cheering on the mighty Mountaineers. All right, so enough about me. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I thought that it would be helpful for you all to kind of see what we were able to accomplish all together last year with our programming efforts. So here is kind of a heat map of the United States, and you'll notice that the darker shades of red are really high concentrated areas of our alumni population. So you'll notice a couple of things outside of just identifying the alumni in the photo. You'll see some black triangles, which we've marked as our 33 currently established chapter programs. And then you'll also see some white triangles, which are our areas or interests of growth moving forward. So we're excited to hopefully add on 9 additional chapters or networks moving forward. So a year in review, so we had a little over 115 events that were held, thanks to you all. We did have some impacts due to COVID. So we had about 29, and it's probably risen since I've done this PowerPoint. I would say about 35 canceled spring and summer events, and also we're still getting some canceled fall events, but we are hoping to come back with a vengeance in the fall. Super excited for football to kick off and for us to start programming again, but a huge shout out to you all and your efforts in creating those Mountaineer communities in your local areas. All right, we're going to jump right into it and talk about our chapter and network standardization. So we got together as a staff back in January and just started to really evaluate our processes to really make sure that we were providing adequate support and resources to our alumni chapter and network programs and to our volunteers. And what we realized is that with a vacancy in my role for a year and a half, it seemed like it was every person or every chapter for themselves. So really what we were wanting to do is kind of restructure and restandardize how our alumni chapters and programs operate. We want to establish consistency to ensure longevity and effectiveness of our programs. And we're hoping to achieve this by providing you all with guidelines on board structure, board appointments, and volunteer management, facilitate trainings and distribute handbook materials to all volunteers and anyone who is interested in either starting a chapter or becoming a volunteer, to hopefully promote that transparency in terms of the expectations and responsibilities, and also to avoid volunteer turnover, because I know that it's just as hard as you all, as hard on you all as fellow board members as it is for us in the office. And last, but probably most importantly, establish those open communication and resource streams between the Office of Alumni Affairs and our affinity network groups. So I think you all likely know this, but just for the sake of saying it, what is a chapter or network program? So a chapter or network program brings together a group of passionate volunteers for the common purpose of networking with fellow alumni, supporting current students, and serving Appalachian. Chapter and network programs are comprised of diverse groups of graduates who are passionate about being Mountaineers, loyal to our traditions, and dedicated to strengthening the overall brand. So when I say the standardization of a chapter and network programs, what does that mean? So think about it in terms of we currently have our chapters and we currently have our affinity or network programs. So our chapters traditionally are geographically based, whereas our network programs are more affinity based or identity based. And so what we're looking to do is split our chapters into 2 different parts. So we have our summit chapters, our peak chapters, and then we will have our network programs. So you may be asking yourself, what's the difference between a Summit chapter program, a Peak chapter, and a network program? So a Summit program, they're ideal for our geographical areas with a vast alumni population. Summit programs are required to maintain an active and formalized leadership board to best guarantee the longevity and success of the program. And keep in mind that our chapters are geographically based. So we are looking at alumni in a geographical or a radius area. So for most of you, it's going to resemble your current model, and these are really our premier chapter programs. So not a lot's going to change. We're just going to write out kind of the expectations that we have, and I'm going to cover those in just 1 second. But if you're still kind of on the fence and not sure, we will move on to our peak programs. So our peak chapter programs are going to help bring together those alumni who are interested in a less formal chapter structure. And they can be found in areas with smaller clusters of alumni and really only require about 2 to 5 volunteers to really keep the program going. So the main focus of our peak programs is to celebrate and continue the spirit of Appalachian in the community through social and service programming. Our peak programs are ideal for rural areas or areas that have smaller alumni populations. And the main focus of our peak chapter programs can be those game day viewing parties. So next we have our network programs, and our network programs extend beyond one geographical location and really aim to serve as advocates and provide that community beyond the mountain. Our network programs will be visible, celebrated, active groups across the nation. And within our network programs, we will have 2 different types. We'll have our identity-based and interest-based. So our identity-based are folks who would share commonalities such as race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability, religion or spirituality, nationality, and socioeconomical status. For example, our African American Alumni Network, an LGBT plus network, a Hispanic Alumni Association, just to name a few. A special or common interest-based group that we are looking to start, or a couple of them, marching band, nursing students, military, former military or veteran students, and also our transfer students. And again, our network programs, since they do extend beyond geographical regions, are looking to create meaningful engagement opportunities, mostly utilizing the virtual platform. I think COVID has kind of forced all of us to do that, but especially I'm excited to see how these groups continue to explore those opportunities to create community across the nation. Why are we really looking to do this? What really is the point of the restructuring? And really, it boils down to your engagement and development as a volunteer. So we really thought long and hard about the volunteer experience and what you all get out of providing the service to not only our office in Appalachian, but also fellow alumni in your area. And what we're looking to hopefully do, again, streamlining that communication and the information that we're getting from the institution so that you all feel well informed and are able to assist folks or other alumni who are maybe asking questions about the university or just have general interest, and you're able to kind of communicate with them about the institution. We also want to provide some unique Appalachian experiences for you all. We want to have that meaningful engagement that's both beneficial and fulfilling to the program, but also you as the volunteer. And last but certainly not least, we want to encourage our volunteers to think creatively about their service to the institution and maybe identify other ways or engagement and service opportunities at Appalachian within their communities to kind of continue to grow personally and professionally, even though they're no longer here on campus. I know this video has been brief, but I also wanted it to be a very brief introduction on kind of changing and the restandardization. So just to kind of reiterate, we're moving to chapter and network programs. So our chapter programs, we're going to have peak chapters and summit chapters. And then for our network programs, we're going to have identity-based and interest-based programs. So really looking to extend beyond our current opportunities of engagement and really get creative about ways that we can continue to connect folks, whether it's geographically or with someone on the other side of the nation. And you all are a key part in that. So in your next videos, I will talk specifically about each program and kind of the differences in the peak, summit, and networks as a whole. So stick around and you'll have that information come your way real soon.